Issued at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Smart craft exercise caution. Today. Hey, thanks for stopping by. This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And what you're looking at is this is HDSDR, the software, one of the many software packages available to talk to these TV dongles and these SDR receivers. I've got it hooked up right now to my SOF 66 RTL3 SDR. And I'm going to show you a little bit of it in operation. Conditions are a lot less than ideal today. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning here in Florida. And the HF bands are dead. Oh boy, there's nothing. I even tried a couple of receivers and regular standalone receivers, and there's nothing on HF. It's just dead. Sorry. So we'll take a quick look at that, but I don't expect to find anything. This is the NOAA weather stations. This one should be at 162.450, but as you can see down here, I had to tune a little bit off to get it to come in clear as far as the audio is concerned. This particular SDR has two antenna connections, one for HF and one for UHF VHF. So I'm connected to the VHF UHF port. I'm not using a very good antenna right now. I don't have any good UHF VHF antennas down here coming into my workshop. Those two antennas I do have are up in my office upstairs. So I'm right now using a HDTV antenna. It's directional. It has a rotor so you can rotate it, and it has a preamp. Without the preamp, you get basically nothing. So they have to have the preamp on. The preamp's on right now. And this signal, which again, it's no weather, coming out of Ruskin, Florida, I believe, or Riverview. It's about 40 miles from me, and it's booming in. Matter of fact, it's a little too strong. I've turned the receiver gain on the SDR. I've turned it all the way down. So that's the best I can do there to keep it from over-modulating. It's got several filter settings. I've got it, I think, on the setting for VHF and UHF. The one thing you run into with experimenting with these SDRs is there's so many variables. For instance, on this particular one, I cannot get the settings correct for SD Sharp software to work with this SDR. I don't know what I messed up, but I can't get it to work. So I'm using the HD SDR software right now. Finally got it set up correctly. There's still a little distortion in the audio, maybe because it's over-modulated. Let me turn it up for a second.
Wind to northeast FM knots. Air temperature 75 degrees. Upper Sealand side of Venice.
And I do have some hum. I don't know where that came from, but now I have some AC hum. Okay, so anyway, this is the two bright bars up here you see. They are the two NOAA weather stations I get locally. One supposedly at 162.55 and one at 162.45, which you can see I'm a little bit off frequency to get it to come in its best. So it's doing a pretty good job. I didn't have much success on HF. Number one, the bands are dead. I tried a couple of standalone shortwave radios and I'm just not picking up anything. But we can try that. So I'm going to switch over to that. The only change you have to make on the receiver, the physical receiver itself, is to change the filter, which I'll do right now. And if you want to, you can change the gain. Oop. That was my scanner radio. Okay, now the filter should be set for one of the HF bands. The other thing that I realized, I was a dummy, I didn't read the instructions. Although it doesn't come with that much of instructions, most of the information is on the gentleman's website. When you tune HF, you have to add 50 megahertz to the frequency you want. So if you want 10 megahertz, WWV, 10 megahertz, it would be 50 plus 10, which would be 60 megahertz is what you would tune in this program. Now, the program allows you to put in an offset, but that offset applies to all frequencies you put in. So then when you go to VHF, UHF, then the offset is not going to be right. So let's tune to 10 megahertz. So we'll go down here, and what we want is 10 plus 50, so we want 60 megahertz. Get all these down to 0. And now that's the band it's going to tune now is tuned to X exact frequency. It's to 60 megahertz. There. So now you can see there's a big spike right there at 60 megahertz. I don't think that's WWV. Let's turn the audio up. No. Nothing there. Now this, right now, this is doing a little better than it was when I tried to record this program about an hour ago. It's about 9 o'clock, as I said, and the HF bands are dead. I'm using for an antenna right now for HF. I'm using my simple long wire antenna. It's about 40 feet long and about 20 feet in the air. So you can tune around here a little bit. I think these over here and here are medium wave stations bleeding in. So let's just tune around for a few seconds. Go down slowly. Or up slowly. I went up slowly. Okay, there's a strong signal there, but I think it's a harmonic from the radio itself. I think that's what that is. Okay, so let's just go over to one of these side frequencies and see what's there. Tune up and down a little bit. Turn the volume up. I'm pretty sure these are medium wave stations bleeding over. I've got the gain on the radio turned all the way down, I believe. Let me just check it. No, I think I actually had it turned all the way up. But I went through the full range there, and there's all the way up. You can see those other spikes come up. That's maximum gain, which the design and maker of this says you don't really want to run it at max gain. So you can see the HF bands are dead, except for those medium wave stations bleeding over. So it seems to be working. I don't know if I've got it excuse me, set up optimally. Again, there are so many options. Here you can go in here and change the interface, change the sample rate, the buffer size. This is the device setting that it came up with. let me see if I stop it and then I go back to this. I say I go back to this, then I can change this, but there's only one choice. So I assume that's it. The RTL 2838 UHIIDI. I assume that's the radio. The device is actually using this radio. And you can manually change the AGC, automatic gain control. So I could turn this off and do it manually and then start it again. And you can see the noise signal, the noise threshold or noise floor, I'll get it right in a minute, gone up when I did that. I can manually adjust this as you saw before. So there it is, basically. I've got to do, it's a huge learning curve on these. Let me turn this audio down on these things. And so I've got to do some more learning, and I'll do some more sampling and do some more shows on this particular one. This is the SOF 66 RTL3. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.